Vanakamma. Pleasure to be here with you.
It's such a pleasure for me to be here with you. I'm meeting you after such a long time.
Such a long time, yes, sure.
So
I just
nice.
want to say, this Knit India through literature, I think it's a truly beautiful knitting the entire culture of our country, because when writers write their thoughts, even though they are stories, it is about what they have gone through in their life, little emotions, instances, incidents. It's a lot of the culture that comes through each and every writer. So I think this Knit India through literature is a book that each one of us has to read if you really want to understand the essence of our country. And Ma'am has researched for 16 years and written this. Truly amazing work, ma'am.
I'm privileged. Yes. Revathi, I'm privileged. I wanted to look at each region. I divided India for convenience sake, south, east, north and west, and 18 languages. So I wanted to look into the region, people, culture, women, youth, literature, everything through the eyes of the writer. Then only it will be authentic, isn't it? Because he is the person who is staying there. After all, I'm a visiting person. What can I cannot get the emotion. I cannot get the manvasane. Right?
You're so right. So now I am going to take up the region that you've written, which is Kerala.
Okay.
The writers of Kerala are amazing. I mean, from Tagari to Vaikam Mohammad Bashir to M.T. Vasudevan Nair and today's writers, Sugandha Kumari, Kamala Das, amazing writers that you've picked up. A very generalized question one is that does writing always emerge out of turbulent times in their life, in the society, poverty, or the pain they have gone through in personal life? Do you think the best of writing has emerged like that?
I can answer it from two levels. One from my level, other from the writer's perspective.
Yeah.
To a great extent, what you say is true. We need to have a pain or a very traumatic experience to motivate you, provoke you to do something, so that it's like a delivery time. You'll go through a lot of delivery pain before you get the child out, but you want the whole thing to go through it and then get the child out healthily, and that's a great experience. And I think writing also is something like that. And to answer precisely to your question, people in Punjab, the Urdu writers, Kashmiri writers, particularly Urdu, Sindhi and Punjabi writers, they have gone through the partition problem and they have all lost everything overnight. And if you go to their literature, it will have lots of these pangs, literature born out of these pangs. But in South, we have been comparatively protected.
Yes.
We have not had such invasions at all. But I still feel, when I lost my father, I wrote my first novel, The Pain. Pain definitely makes you a difficult situation, a traumatic situation definitely motivates you, and that's what quite a few writers have also told.
Because I found in the writers that you have chosen, whether it is Tagari, Vaikam Mohammad Bashir, Kamala Das, M.T. Vasudevan Nair, most of they have said that they started writing very young. Yeah. Around the age of 9, 10, 11.
Yes.
And what they have seen, the society, their family and the changes, the communism changes and all that has definitely affected their writing. Sure. And their depth of their writing.
See, it need not be personal. It can also happen to what's the society around you. So this is what is called empathy. I think the greatest qualification for a writer is empathy. Although as human beings, everybody should have empathy. Sympathy is feeling sorry for somebody. Empathy, you become that. You experience the ecstasy or the pain or the agony. So for a writer, to know what you feel, what he feels or somebody feels, it's important for us to parakaya pravesham. We have to enter into that body to know the feeling, the agony. So it's just not only our agony. It is the agony or pain or the ecstasy felt by the society also, impacts you.
Yeah, you're right, because Kamala Das's first poem was about a dog who's about to die.
Yes.
You have questioned her. How come you, was 9 years
Yes.
an age to write that?
It's just the emotional impact.
Yeah.
Then it bothers you, it nags you, it scratches you, the thought. Then you want to do something about it. Then it comes out as a poetry or a fiction, a short story, and you share it with the others. It's like getting it out of your body. That agony, that restlessness. It happens.
Yeah. So you think great writers can only emerge from that kind of it's like a lotus blooming from a pond.
No, Revathi, quite a few things contribute to this.
Okay.
Basically, if you have it in the genes, if you're somebody in your family, mother's side, father's side has this artistical genes, it makes the platform much easier.
Much easier.
Then a writer who is very observant. For a writer, you have to be very observant. You have to keep, now when I am talking to you, I should be aware of a clock ticking somewhere or a cuckoo singing somewhere. I should be aware of everything. All the five senses, you keep it alive. You live moment to moment. With this kind of quality and something happening that provokes you or motivates you, and you have the capacity to write, then all these magic things joins together and wonderful literature comes out. For example, everybody can love music, but everybody cannot sing like Ms. Subbulakshmi Amma. In spite of practicing, they should have the voice. See, similarly, everybody might feel that they want to write and they probably would try. But then if you don't have it in you, you are an actor, you will know. Not everybody can become an actor. You should have the flair for it. That should be in your genes, that should be in your blood. Similarly, for a writer, for a great writer, for great literature to be produced, few things have to join. A good content and the craft with which you write, then it's magic. Then it should go and touch the hearts. Yeah. Then it becomes a good literature.
And I have to, give full appreciation for the way you have interviewed each of these writers.
Thank you.
You have understood their writing, and I think you have gone into the soul of what made them write those works, and then you have asked questions, because each of your interviews with each of the writers are so different. Your questions are different,
Because they are different.
Yes.
And the work they have done is different, and you have to do a lot of spade work, homework for this.
Absolutely, I totally
You have to
agree.
keep on reading their works and the ambience in which they write, the family, the background with which they come. So many things impacts a person's thinking. So, same set of questions cannot be given to everybody. How can you?
You're right. And you spoke about a few of the latest writers, Sugandha Kumari, Vasu and Balachandran Chulikad.
Yes.
I really liked what you when you asked your favorite favorite writers. He went all the way to
back.
Edutachan and Kumarachan, Achan and all of them. He had nobody from the present times. So a person like him, he's very
comparatively very young. Comparatively,
very young.
He belongs to the younger progressive writing group.
Yeah. So I was just worried, what will happen to this generation if they don't have writers or writings to look up to?
Revathi, you cannot take Balachandran Chulikad's taste or likes and dislikes to be
generalized.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's his version, his way of thinking at things, looking at things. But there are a lot of people who are inspired by M.T. Vasudevan Nair, by Bashir. They are all contemporary writers compared to the Edutachan. Edutachan at least lived in 14th century or 15th century. But there are so many people who are inspired by the modern writers. So I don't think we need to worry about it. No.
Okay. There's another very interesting aspect, which is of course Kerala and Bengal. One is this is Kerala basically. It's born out of a matriarchal society, and women were very powerful, very strong. internally inside the family, with regards to marriage, with regards to property laws and hereditary laws and everything. Then it kind of changed. Modern laws have to change, but I feel that personally, the patriarchy is so dominant in that state. Have you felt that in their writings?
You mean to say a country which, a state which had been so much practiced in matriarchal society, turning into a patriarchal one?
Absolutely.
No, Revathi, this is happening all over the world and also in India. The matriarchal system predominantly in India thrived in Kerala and in Eastern, not even in Bengal.
Manipur.
Go to Manipur.
Yeah.
It's empty, everything is controlled by women there. There is a market called Ima Market with 3,000 shops selling knife to axe to everything. And every place a woman only is sitting in the counter, she is managing the shop. It's matriarchal and lot of similarities between Kerala and eastern states, because the nature has been so abundant and loving to them. It's greenery, it's river, it's beautiful. And that is why, it's strange, it's my observation. In Kerala, which is verdant, which is so beautiful, so green, and also in the eastern India, people wear very simple white contrast. But whereas the place where it's very dry, just desert, people dress reds and all colors, and to complement each other. Coming to your question whether it has become patriarchal, it's happening all over the country the last few centuries. See, when man started taking control of the household, slowly a woman lost her place, the respectful place which probably centuries ago she enjoyed. Exceptions are there in Kerala and other places, but in generally other places, as far as I can think, 1000 years before, 1500 years before, it has been the same. Man is a master and the woman has to, her only sole purpose is to serve him in every way possible, body, mind and everything. But in Kerala, things were different. Even the last century, you had the matriarchal society very dominant, the Nair community particularly, but with modernization, people learn all the wrong things from everybody and things change. The so-called modernization, we thought it's becoming westernized, to be westernized, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but it's lost. It's very sad.
Because we can even see in the writings of especially M.T. Vasudevan Nair and all, you can see it, how it has slowly changed. The place of the woman and the man has kind of changed.
I think somebody, a scholar, should analyze all these things and research why this happened.
In a state where a woman's place was so powerful and so wonderful, suddenly it's like
and you all
flipped.
Women had education also, everything was available.
100% educated.
What is the need for it to change?
What
is the need for it to change? From my interviews, I could not understand it, but I thought it is a fact that's happening generally all over the country, the male domination. But now again, for the past 20 years, the women's freedom, the awareness for women, the more education women have, they are now trying to be at par in doing all the work. There is no male domain or this is restricted to male.
That is not
It's happening now.
But then the struggle for the woman is a little more.
Tagari in his interview said it beautifully, which will give an answer to your question also. I asked him about, you have written about the downtrodden, the Dalits, and Toti in Magan and everything.
Yes.
Why haven't you concentrate on women, on women's freedom, women's movement? He looked at me and said, what do you mean by women's movement and women's freedom? I said, it's happening all over the country, people are fighting for their equal rights. He said, in our Nair community, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, if a woman doesn't want a man, all she has to do is take the charpai and the pillow and put it out, and that means he's out of the Now you have to go through all legal formalities, wait and go to the court. He said, who had more freedom? We women had more freedom. Nowadays, we women who fight for freedom, they don't have freedom. But people who live in that state are fit, are genuine people to answer the question.
And what do you think of, emerging women writers? Do you think
In Malayalam?
Yes, Malayalam.
See, I have now lost touch for the past 20 years.
Okay.
I did my interview 20 years before. So at that time, I was very thorough. I knew everybody from the senior most, from Tagari to the youngest person. But now for the past 20 years, I have lost touch.
Yeah.
See, the problem is we don't have enough translations between each language. So we really don't know what's happening in one language. That is the main reason why I started this Knit India through literature.
No, it's an amazing thing. Let me come to, see, writing, the extension of writing is definitely being, from the film industry, is films too. And you have written about 4-5 scripts for the Napathir Nadkal, and Kuti was your last, I think. Yeah. Avan Avaladu and all that.
Nandu by Mahendran.
Nandu, that was amazing. What did you think as a writer to write for films? What did you feel?
I just want to correct you. I never wrote for films.
Okay.
I wrote novels.
Yes, you wrote that.
And a good director with whom I had faith, he took it. And it's
but you wrote the dialogue and screenplay.
Only for Napathir Nadkal. Okay. That's because Balchandar was so magnanimous. K. Balchandar, he discussed with me everything and he said, whatever change we want to make, you must make it, because otherwise people will say, your story is such a popular story, people will say Balchandar has spoiled it.
How much of social change can we bring with writing, with your books? I mean, you don't have to put it right on the face, but with your story, there is a character that goes through an arc and does something in the end, So that creates, for me, a lot of books have changed me from within, has helped me grow, has helped me change my, thought process, everything. As a human being, I think I've changed a lot with a lot of books. There are some books which I've read when I was 16, 17, which I still remember. I felt that was the foundation of my change. That is the time you change. How much do you think you put into it, or the Malayalam writers have done for social change?
I personally feel writings can do a lot of give a lot of impact to the reader, right or wrong. So one has to be very careful that you give the positive reactions, not the negative reactions. You cannot provoke a person. Provocation comes without reasoning. Motivation comes with reasoning. If you motivate your reader, that's be the greatest thing you can do. And I personally feel good books, good writings can make and change people, make them think better, make them their relationships better, make them understand, give them better awareness. But there are writers who believe that writing cannot have any impact. I don't agree with them at all. But the Malayalam writers, almost all of them felt writing definitely impacts the society.
It's a communist society.
And Sugata Kumari said, writing has to be like a broom, sweeping out things.
Wow.
All the garbages from the society. And Kamala Das said, good writing should be like a second skin for you.
Wow.
So all of them really.
No wonder they wrote like that. Because they felt it and they thought it, and that's why they wrote it. One of my last question, because I have a 9-year-old, and I feel that it's very important to inculcate reading in children, and thankfully her school also is inculcating the process of writing. That write a title, read a story and give a gist of it in 2 sentences. Then if you want to think of a different ending, what kind of ending would you do? These kind of things, and I'm really happy with that, because I feel that is important. I used to be a voracious reader, But now, even these interviews, we're taking it for 15-minute, 20-minute segments because we feel that people may not have
concentration.
the concentration. But
sad, very sad.
But I think this is again a cycle, ma'am. It will change because writing is something, I mean, books are something which will always be there. You might read it, you know, like this, or, you know, in Kindles, or you might read it.
But you will read.
But you will read.
That's what I keep telling people, that please don't think literature will vanish at all because of something else. When television came, people thought cinema industry is going to go away.
Yeah.
No, both of them thrived parallelly. So the literature reading habit will not change, but the medium will change.
Yes.
That, as you rightly said, it could be a physical books may not be there, but they'll read it in the e-book or an audio book. You know, that also is becoming audio book. You know, you can do some. You can drive the car and you can listen. You can shave and listen. You can cook and listen. You can do two things at the same time with the audio books. Yeah. So I think the reading habit for children must be inculcated. I tell wherever I go, I tell in my speeches, and I have written also. Now, very sad thing is, in most of the houses, the TV or the cell phone has become the surrogate mothers for the children. They switch on a cartoon in the television and then make the children eat their food or feed them. You know, a mother telling a story about our itihasas, our purana, or the niti shastras, whatever it is, the grandmother, grandfather staying at home, telling all these things, gave the basic value for the children. And then I always tell them, from whether they understand or not book, you read a book story for them in the bedtime, so that they start hearing it. And when they are 1 year, give them cake, give them new dress, but give them also a book. Let them wait for their book as a gift. So then, you know, the habit of receiving a book, giving a book, reading a book, everything is inculcated when you are 2 or 3. Once this happens, you know, the imprint on a wet clay is much easier and it stays longer.
Yeah. Till the age of 8. Yeah. I think it's very important.
Afterwards, they will pick it up themselves. Yeah. Once they taste it, they know the taste of reading, they'll pick it up. So it's for the parents. Today, if the children, some of them don't read, they look only into the YouTube or play the games. I don't blame the children at all. I blame the parents. It is the parents who has not given them the taste of good reading. You know, I'm so happy your daughter is going to a school where they're doing this. In one school I went in America, years ago, I went to a kindergarten, first standard class.
Yeah, junior school.
And because we were all writers, that class teacher had asked the students to bring a mirror, each one of them, that day to class, because she knew we were all international writing group. When we went, children 6 or 7, the teacher said, look into the mirror for 2 minutes and then write something.
Wow!
You know something? What all the things the children wrote? It says, some children very simply said, I see myself in the mirror. But some children say, what is it? Is it reflecting my thinking? Is it reflecting my future? All kinds of things, you know. So you really kindle. If the children can write, we need imagination, right?
Exactly.
Whether it's to be an artist, whether you're a painter or an actor or a writer, basic thing is imaginations. And they were kindling it in such a young age. I wish we could do it in our schools also.
I have a feeling the next generation is going to value such education.
I'm so happy if they do.
No, I feel that it is going to happen because, you know, reading is something where there is the world in words, but the visual is one's own. You know, each person goes into a visual, goes into a world of their own. And I think that is a fantastic, because I've lived in different worlds when I was reading. And that has helped me, you know, in that visual thinking so much.
To complement what you say, let me add on one. Lal Pushp is a Sindhi writer. He said something very beautiful. He said, every writer after writing a piece of work, whether it's poem or short story or novel, that writer dies. Because each reader becomes a writer.
Writer, oh,
what
wow.
you just now said, because you may read a short story, you close it and you put your imagination and take the hero, heroine, different ways, a different conversation, you became a creator.
Yes.
So he says the writer dies and writing creates writers. What a beautiful thing.
What a beautiful.
That's how it should be. That's how any good writing should be.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On that note, I would like to say, you know, Knit India again through literature has actually brought in so many writers, and you will see India through their eyes, through their stories, and through ma'am's interviews. You will know these writers. You know, I think for over 75 years altogether, when you see all the people.
Now I'm 80.
Yeah.
I started writing when I'm 25.
Yeah.
And this
all
project,
these writers,
60. Everyone,
yeah.
92. Shivaram Karant was 92.
So a
Virendra
century.
Bhattacharya. And unfortunate thing is, most of these people, the senior, the giants, intellectual giants of this country I have met, but they're all no more.
But
Most
we
of
have them
them.
in your words,
Yes,
with
thank God
your
they're here.
interviews. So thank you
God.
very, very much. I think it's a treasure.
Thank you, Revathi. Your words mean a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.